Welcome back to Cultureminds, an online conversation series where I interview special guests to normalise conversations about mental health. And today's special guest is an activist, public speaker and youth leader. Please welcome Darrel Blake. Thank you for coming today. You are looking well. How are you feeling?
I don't feel well. A lot's been going on. Today's been an important day because today the artwork for my documentary that's coming out for Black History Month has been released. I've just been invited to feature on a show coming up soon, which is fantastic because I'm a fan of the show. I've got some literature that's being finalised as well. So lots happening. So I'm feeling good. I'm just tired, as you know.
Good. Well, you sound like you've been very busy.
Yeah.
Congratulations on everything that you've been doing.
Thank you so much.
Now, I remember we first met at the Cycle event, and I heard briefly a bit of your story.
Yeah.
And from there, I thought, I need to interview you. I need to hear your story.
Right.
And I know that you're going to inspire millions. So I want everyone else to hear your story who wasn't at that event. So thank you for wanting to be here today and wanting to inspire people. So in relation to mental health, which is why we're here, which is what we're going to be speaking about, do you feel that there's still a stigma associated with people who experience mental health difficulties?
Yeah, definitely. I will speak from a male perspective because I can't touch on a female's perspective because I feel like, men and women go through similarities, but there was a lot of differences. So there are things that will affect you differently that would affect me, depending on what angle you're coming from. But from a man's perspective, I feel there is a stigma because of the whole notion of men don't cry, boys don't cry. And I think that we're nurtured from a young age to not show emotion because it shows signs of weakness. And I think that's poisonous in development because if you want to be emotional but you can't, emotion is fundamental for the brain to understand right from wrong. And feel a connection to the actions that are happening around you. So if you disconnect from showing emotion, then when you actually hurt someone as an adult, you might not get why they're hurt because you wasn't shown how to show emotion from a young age. So I feel it's poisonous to put stigmas in the way of development because, we're emotional people. We've got big hearts, we've got big brains, and we should be able to do that. But through media, through music, through so many different things, that kind of put men as like the alpha male and you're strong, you got to be able to do this. And we all play a part into it, Some men talk about other men being weak and then calling them names. And you got some women who don't want a weak guy, they want a strong guy because they're going off the whole alpha male thing again. And that plays a part due to movies. Or maybe it could be from the household as well, depending on where they're coming from. But there is a stigma that needs to be eradicated ASAP because I work with youth and I see the impacts of early stages of, like, say, toxic masculinity, where boys are crying out to have emotions be shown, but they don't know how to, so they just internalize it and it builds up and it filters out into different areas. So it filters out in terms of problems at home, problems in society, problems in school. It shows, but we have to really kind of go beneath everything and say, hey. So what I try to do is create a safe space where children can really be themselves, no matter where you come from, no matter your race, your religion. Hey, come together and let's all cry. So sometimes I like to have the boys in a separate room and then the girls in a separate room or separate session because some boys want to be, I ain't crying for the little girl, you know what I mean? No. And when you kind of like let them feel safe and you just strip down everything, you see there's so many layers to them. And then when they start to be emotional, you just see the beauty in the human being because see, that's who you are that person. And I feel like if we kept a space in order for children to develop and show themselves, the world will look at the next generation in a different way.
That's amazing. You're doing amazing work with the younger generation. And it's the younger generation who we need to help. Definitely. Because they are the next generation. They are the ones who are going to be the next presidents, the next lawyers, the next doctors. So it's important that we get the younger generation. And I know within today's society, we're trying to get mental health spoken about in schools.
Yeah.
And the work that you're doing is amazing. Do you do this in schools, or is this something that you do privately?
So I've just started. I did a quick 6-week program at a secondary school in South London, and the results were incredible. Some of the students that I worked with were ones that were having a little bit of difficulty, and I created a safe space again for them to be themselves. Especially, it was a school that I went to as well, so I'm like, hey, I've been here, done that, come on, sort of thing. And I gave them that sort of energy, like, you don't need to hide. There were some students that were really tough in the first week. You know, they were just trying to flex their muscle, like, I'm not listening or whatever. By the second week, they started to adjust. And by the third week, they were just like, hi, sir. I'm like, you call me sir, just call me Darrel. And it was so beautiful to see, because I did a meditation session with them. And it was so amazing to see them unpack and cry. Like, it was, you had some people who, some children who have been going through a lot at home, and when they sort of like let it all out in front of everybody, even to their best friends who didn't know what they was going through, oh man, it was so beautiful to see, but it was so healing. And I think it's very, very, very important this should be a regular thing in every school, every community centre, as long as we can get them open again, to work on the children. Like you said, they are the future, but they don't know what their future is. And if we can change the mindset of them, that's the imperative part of growing. Great French philosopher Descartes says, if I think, therefore I am, which basically means that I am human, I am a man, therefore I exist. Well, if the children don't know what to think, how do they know they exist in a world that's suitable for them? But we ain't changing the world that they're living in, so they're just navigating through the world and being whatever it is that society tells them that they're going to be.
And it's kind of like conditioning them to believe that this is how they are, without them actually, like you said, unpicking and understanding who they are, and really coming to terms with emotions and understanding that yes, I have emotions, and yes, I've gone through maybe difficulties at home, at school, within any environment, and that's okay. And it's okay to express my emotions, and it's okay to talk about what I've actually been through. So what you're doing is amazing, and I really do hope that more schools book you, we get community centres open for you to do the work that you're doing, because you are impacting millions of people.
Thank you.
And it's I'm lost for words. It's amazing.
No,
so
thank you. I appreciate it, man. I just try to
needed.
Because I feel like, especially in the mental health realm, I feel like we treat mental health like how we treat our meat. For example, people eat chicken, beef, pork, lamb, goat, whatever. But you don't really hear about people eating buffalo. You don't really hear about people eating wildebeest. You don't really hear about people eating giraffe, or because we're very selective of what we want to see is, that's definitely food, and that isn't. So we will touch on like depression, and we will touch on like BPD or whatever, but we won't touch on schizophrenia too much, because it's like, whoa. And especially in the black community, schizophrenia is like, if you're from Caribbean background, especially like Jamaica, if you are suffering from schizophrenia, they just dismiss you. Like, it's a common thing to just dismiss that person, because you don't want to be associated, my cousin's got schizophrenia. Like, oh, your cousin's mad in the head. And that's sort of seen as like, whoa, you're like away. So a lot of families from Caribbean backgrounds are very selective of what it is that they want to choose to decide on, okay, that's ill mental health, or that isn't. And I think that society doesn't know how to approach it. So, for example, like if someone is addicted to taking drugs, they will go to a meeting, there's a 12-step program, because, taking drugs is their solution, but also that's their problem. Someone who drinks, they'll go to an AA meeting, and there'll be a 12-step program to deal with their depression that's surrounding around alcohol. If someone is addicted to money because their family's poor and they'll do anything to get money, that's a ill mental health. Is there a 12-step program in place in this world for someone who's addicted to money? There isn't. So most of these kids who want to get by and whatnot are addicted to money. That's an ill mental health, because they believe that money is the way out, which, depending on where they're from, it's a temporary situation, but it's not actually the road for like everlasting happiness in life. So I don't think the government or even like NHS or all these organizations know how to deal with that side of it, because no one's talking about it. Some of these kids are depressed because mummy is just making ends meet, and the meter's always on the electric's always on the emergency or the gas, and they got to go to school, and then they got to share a room with their brother. Say someone's like 11 years old and it's a 2-bedroom house, but it's 3 children. So you got a bunk bed, and then you got one bed that's all in one room, and then you've got mum who's trying to do this, trying to do that. Say that dad's not around, for example, like, but they need extra money, but she can't work because she doesn't get money for the 3rd child. So she can only work a certain amount to make ends meet before council tax effects and then everything else. So that child's thinking, I need to get money to help my mum out. I'm addicted to money. I need to get money to do this. I need to sell this or whatever. And it's depressing. Because they may go to school, these children go to school, and they don't know if they've got money on their card, because you have to buy your food if you're not on, right? So they may lie to themselves every day. Their friends might say, oh, let's go and get some lunch. And they're like, no, I'm not even hungry. Their belly is like growling like Mufasa from Lion King. But they can't admit the fact they've got no money because of their household situation. So they have to play on the fact that they're not hungry to fit into the crowd, so they don't look like they're poor. Kids do that from a young age. That's crazy.
So let's get deeper then.
Sorry about that.
That's all right, no worries. Have you ever experienced any difficulties with your mental health?
Yeah. A couple of years ago, I had an episode where I was drained. Like literally, like super duper drained. I was doing way too much, trying to please everybody, which I found out the hard way that you can't do. Trying to please family, trying to please friends, literally just trying to please everyone, trying to be that guy. And what I noticed was that I started to slow down. I wasn't getting up in the mornings quick enough. I wasn't really seeing myself as doing anything great. And then I kind of sat back one day and I was like, you know what? Maybe I've done enough. Maybe this is my time. So had an episode where I spent like a whole week like in my room, didn't leave my room at all, like literally went toilet, bathed my skin, and that was it. I didn't leave my room. I just created this mental black cloud over the ceiling, which just kept me in. I'd stay in bed the whole entire time, hardly ate because I was just drained. I was taking on people's emotion. Then I thought, am I not doing enough in this world? Am I not doing enough for family, friends, loved ones, so on and so forth? Like, what am I actually doing? And then I felt unappreciated as well, because it was a long time since anyone says, oh, Darrel, like, I love you, you know, like, you're, like, yeah, from a friend or family member, like, I didn't receive any of that. And then I started to drive myself down into the ground thinking, do you know what, maybe if I wasn't here, my life would be better. It's the easy way out. And probably people wouldn't notice me. So maybe I should just kind of wrap it up, call it a day. So I actually had an episode where, the second episode of that is planning my exit. I actually decided to myself that I didn't want to be here anymore. So what I did was I wrote suicide notes to my family and put it in envelopes and stack them away. Then I started to really plan my exit by... what I did was that I used to work in a lot of like corporate jobs, and I still got the ties from the jobs, and I tied the ties one after the other, like a long tie, and then I was like, okay, well, this is long enough. And what I was going to do, I was going to use the ties to make up like a rope, like a noose, and hang myself. I decided that I wanted to do it over Southwark Bridge because London Bridge, Waterloo, Blackfriars, Tower Bridge, Westminster Bridge, Vauxhall Bridge, all those bridges are busy. Southwark Bridge is a dodgy bridge because it's like, it's in the middle of nowhere. Like, if you find it, good on you. If you don't find it, you just wouldn't notice it because no one really uses it. So I thought, if I use that bridge, then no one would interrupt me. I don't want to be, like, people have got phones like crazy now. So if I try and fail, it's going to be someone's phone. Like, I don't want to be around if like I get saved or whatever. I don't want to be around people saying, oh, D, I saw this. I didn't want that pressure. So I'd rather not live, and that happens, as opposed to being around. So I thought, I'm going to have Surrey Bridge, and it was a Wednesday that I was planning to do it. And had like everything set up, my ID, all my belongings. So when I'm found or whatever, then people, you know, I didn't want to do it like a tree because people might think, oh my God, it's a racist attack, people lynching black people again. So I thought, no, let's just use the bridge, let's keep it away from everywhere, and it is what it is. The day of when it was meant to happen, well, the lead up to that day, I was posting a lot of videos from Chester from Lincoln Park, who unfortunately took his own life. And I was listening to his stories and what he was saying about speaking to the person within you and how important it is to recognize that difference between the balance in the rage and happiness. And sometimes the rage can take over. And I've never heard anybody break it down like he did. It was incredible. So I started sharing that on my social media pages, and especially on my WhatsApp. And it was my friend, Ricky, and he noticed some of the videos, and Ricky was like, I still got the voice note now, like, I wish I could play it. But he just said, like, yo, like, D, what's happening? Like, I see what you're posting. Yeah, I don't know what you're going through, but man, like, you're loved. And to hear a friend of mine, who I wasn't even expecting to even get him, like, he does events, so usually books me to do like music events and stuff. So I wasn't expecting that at all. Like, he just poured, like, it was like a 6-minute voice note of him just speaking on what he views of me and how he believes I should be, and just showing me nothing but pure love. And that was the first time I've ever experienced anything like that. And that just opened me up to hear another guy say, yo, Darrel, I love you so much. Like, you're such a great guy and whatnot. And that's what kind of sparked me to be like, okay, look at things differently. And then my mum, she found her suicide letter. Yeah. And then she called me. She was like, where are you? I was like, I'm just out. She goes, could you come see me? I was like, okay. Went to go and see her, and then she gave me a hug, and then she goes, I'm so sorry, I didn't know you was going through that.
Wow. So it was like all you needed was the love, and for someone to just tell you that they loved you. And sometimes that's all it takes to check on that strong friend, and to just tell that strong friend that you're doing okay, and I love you, and I'm here for you. And sometimes people often forget that, and sometimes they get distracted, or they think, you know, Darrel's strong, he's fine, he's coping, he's doing great stuff. But sometimes we actually need someone to just show us that affection that we have maybe been lacking in our life and need to hear. So, Ricky, you are amazing. Thank you, Ricky. Because, you know, like you said, if it wasn't for Ricky, then
I wouldn't be here.
No one knows what could have happened. So we thank Ricky, and for people like Ricky who are inspiring people and just showing love and bringing a positive vibe and a positive energy and saving lives, because like you said, he saved your life from what you were planning to do. And
I always remind him as well, he's just like, oh, what are you talking about? I was like, because in the voice note, he can, bless him, like, he's trying. He's like, yeah, like, he's like, I don't even know what I'm doing. Yeah. I can tell he was probably holding the phone like this and driving and saying, like, it's just so awkward. But it was, hearing from like, a fellow, like, industry guy was just, like, very important. I think I just needed that at one point, but he came in the nick of time. Do you know what I mean?
And at the right moment for you. So that's amazing.
Exactly. They always say that God doesn't come when you want him to, but he's always on time.
Yeah, amazing. And so from that, the message from that is check on your strong friend, no matter what. No matter if you spoke to them yesterday and they done something amazing, still check on them and still show them that love and affection. Even if you feel like you don't have time, make time. Because it's things like this where people don't feel maybe encouraged or maybe appreciated, that they kind of step themselves back and think, maybe if I wasn't here, no one would even notice. So I feel like from your story, I want people to feel encouraged more to check on their strong friend, or not even the strong friend, check on every friend, check on every family member. Have times where you check on people and say, just want to say I love you and you're amazing. So doing more things like that.
The random messages are the best. Out of nowhere. And do you know what as well? I try and encourage my people. My people being like my friends and family, to celebrate more.
Yeah.
Because
we only celebrate on occasions. It's never,
Yeah, we need to celebrate more. And I think that brings about happiness because, like, the culture that I'm from, we don't really celebrate much. It's just like, if someone goes to uni, there's a birthday, a christening, a wedding, a this, a that. But we don't celebrate the small little things because, like, being from, like, the Caribbean, especially in black culture, because we've never really had our feet set in the ground, we're just trying a thing. So a lot of the older generation, you might say, oh, you got a new job? Yeah, man, all right, just try a thing. And always trying, we're never doing. We are doing, but we don't know why we're doing it. Because nothing's ever... Right, so in our heads, we've kind of been trained to not believe that everything's ever going to be okay and going to be set in stone for us. So we're always trying a thing. So we're never at ease. Unless... Even the richest black person is never at ease because they're thinking at any given moment it can be taken from us. So we've got to celebrate the small things because you never know what's coming the next day. So small little things. Oh, you got a new... All right, celebrate that new job. Oh, what, you had a good week? All right, let's celebrate this good week. And we've got to learn to celebrate and appreciate just the smallest things because that can just bring about happiness.
How do you take care of your mental health now? What are the type of things that you do to keep you mentally stable?
I've learned discernment, which is basically knowing when to say no. I'm a sort of person that says yes to everyone because I want to do everything. But also, I try to celebrate the smallest things. I'm realizing that smiling produces like incredible hormones in the body and make you feel good. I know, everybody says like smiling makes you feel better, but it really does. So for example, like if you get your two fingers like this, okay, and you just put them here, right, and you do, like you laugh, right? There you go. That's a proper laugh, yeah? Okay. Right, you're squeezing the nerves right in this area here, which produces an oil that heals you. And if you do the same thing again and you frown, right, so what you're doing, you're producing acids that make you feel unhappy.
Oh, wow. And I do feel a bit uncomfortable in my belly doing that, actually frowning. Yeah. My belly felt a bit like anxiously, nervousy.
Right, especially when there's silence, you're thinking about it, it kind of just makes you zone in. What I do as well, which I will share with you, is a little quick exercise I do with my young people. Okay. So, for example, let me ask you, physically, could your body go a whole day without food?
Yes.
Okay. Physically, could your body go a whole day without water?
No.
You couldn't. Would you die after like one day?
No, I wouldn't die, but I would feel very weak.
But you'd still be
very fatigued. But I'll still be here.
Okay.
But I don't think I'll be able to manage that.
Okay. Could your body go a day without air?
No.
Okay. So what's most important? Food, air, or water?
Air.
Okay, so tell me about air. What do you know about air?
Oh my God, I feel like this is trick questions. We need it to survive.
Well, tell me about it. How do you breathe?
Yes.
How do you breathe?
Oh my God, no!
Show me how you breathe. Okay. Is that it?
Yeah.
Alright, so you're breathing, but you're not breathing. So what you're doing is you're inhaling, exhaling, but you're not actually properly breathing. Your heart, because your lungs is connected to your heart, okay, your heart works on the left ventricle and right ventricle. So it's like oxygenated, deoxygenated blood. Yeah, that's how your heart operates, okay? Right, so it's like a trap door. It's like it just goes in and out, in and out, in and out, okay? And what it is that we should be breathing in cycle of our heart that we don't do. So for example, if you get your right thumb, okay, and you place it over your right nostril, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then what I want you to do is take a deep breath. I'm gonna do it with you. Hold it. And then pinch it like this. Hold it. And then release. Through that same nostril. And then pinch it. And then breathe out through that nostril. Try not to breathe out of the mouth. Breathe out the nostril there.
Okay.
Alright. Hold it. And then breathe out. And again, deep breath. Pinch. Do it one more time. Pinch, hold it, breathe out. If you do that, you'll see that your nose just feels much clearer. If you do that like over like...
Do you know what? I actually feel like I've released something. Wow, I feel like I was really focusing on my breathing and really appreciating.
You got a left and right heart, left and right brain. So, for example, your brain... Yes, you go, girl. So when you breathe in, and you hold it,
Guys, do that.
Yeah, you hold it for like 3 seconds. Like, You're operating like that. So you're working the chambers. Your brain needs oxygen to think. So when people are very erratic, like, oh, leave me alone, they tense up first.
Yeah.
That means they're holding their breath. They go, and then they act, as opposed to...
Yeah, and breathing is really good for just coming back together and just kind of coming in alignment with your thought processing and not acting out of character and behaving as you wouldn't want to behave, having reflecting back on your behaviour. And breathing is very important, and I feel like we don't appreciate breathing as much as we should do.
We don't know how to breathe.
And that exercise was amazing.
That's it.
Wow. I feel like doing it again. Can we do it one more time? Okay, wait.
Right,
1, 2, 3.
Here we go. It's better when you close your eyes.
Oh, one more time. Wow, it's very peaceful.
Yeah, because you got in certain East Asian cultures, it's called Chi, breathing, like martial arts Chi, and parts of West Africa and parts of what you call Asian Kemet, it's called Ka, breathing, Ka. And you got Kabbalah as well, Ka, it means breathing air, that's what it is.
Wow, guys, so if you haven't done that before, do it, it was amazing. Thank you.
No, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Before we go, where can we find you on social media?
Okay, on Instagram, it's Darrel.Blake, so DARREL.Blake, and on Twitter it's Darrel__Blake. That's where you can find me.
Perfect. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much. No, thank you.